So this is my electric skateboard project. For anybody who saw my other video, this is a 2.0. Had a few issues with the design of the other one. Didn't work out so well. So I won't comment on that anymore. But this is a MBS mountain board. I chose it because it has the braking system, the tethered braking system. And then I bought a Razor E300 scooter. And as you can see right here, I put the throttle control from the Razor right on the braking system, fit right on there. And then I actually used a cable, you can see the cable right there, from a picture hanging kit for hanging pictures, mirrors, paintings, and I fastened it inside here with a rivet underneath this cap, and then I fastened it to the bottom of the board right here, and I drilled the hole through the board so that I could put all the wires through the hole so it would go straight up, instead of before it was kind of wrapped around the outside of the board and it was kind of getting in the way of the tires a little bit and rubbing. So I drilled this hole so that all the wires could go straight up. I put spacers in here just to give me a little bit more clearance on the board. The spacers are out of an old cutting board, a nylon cutting board that I used. I used it for a different project, so it had some holes in it. So I used the spacers from that. And then I fastened down the wiring right here, these little clips. This wiring, I had to extend it. This is the wiring for the throttle control. And then this is the box that's on the Razor E300. I just cut it off with a hacksaw and then mounted it to the bottom of this board. And then I had this part welded. I had pieces of aluminum around that I used. So this is a nice thick piece of aluminum. Had it welded, and this is going to be the motor mount. There you can see a little better view of the spacers. This is the other part that I had welded here. This is the adapter plate. Alright, interruption from my son. So this is the adapter plate. This is going to go on the wheel so that the sprocket can attach to the wheel. This piece here that I had welded on, this is the hub from the Razor E300. And that piece was right here, and I cut that off with a hacksaw, and then I had to file down a little bit because it was tapered, and then drilled a hole big enough for it in this adapter plate, and then I had that welded. He did a really good job welding that, so that's not going anywhere. And that's so that I could attach the sprocket, which is attached to this freewheel hub. So the Razor scooter had this freewheel hub that, you know, when it's coasting, just like a bicycle, when it's coasting, it's clicking, and when it's, you know, engaged and putting some force to that tire, it's turning that wheel. And then here's the Razor E300 motor. Here's a piece of plate that I had. This is overkill. Does not need to be that thick, but that's what I had laying around. So this was a piece of aluminum I-beam. So I cut off the other side of the I-beam, ground it up a little bit on the edge, and then sanded it smooth. So that's going to be the motor mount. This is a spacer. This will fit inside the hub right in there, so that that adapter plate, when I screw that adapter plate onto the wheel, has this to, you know, tighten down to, instead of putting added stress on the wheel. Alright, all done, finished product. So here you can see how it's all mounted. Got that Razor E300 motor on there, a couple spacers, some washers in here as spacers so that you can line up the sprockets. You need to make sure that those are lined up. And then flip this over so you can see everything. There's the motor mounts, and these holes right here are oval shaped holes so that you can move this back and forth a little bit so that you can tighten up the chain. And there's that Razor E300 box mounted on there. It's got the on and off switch and charger, everything ready to go. So just turn it on and use that throttle control. Okay, and then that freewheel hub, see, when it doesn't have a load on it, that wheel turns nice and easy. And you engage it, it gets going. There's something rubbing a little bit. It's just one of the bolts is rubbing against the aluminum motor mount right down here. But the bolt is made out of steel. This is an aluminum, so it's softer. So it'll just rub a little bit and until it wears a nice groove in the aluminum, and then it won't rub anymore. So it's not any danger of doing any damage there. I may need to put some lock washers or some Loctite on some of these so they don't jiggle loose under vibration. Every build is different. You know, I was going to mount the motor underneath, so you know my motor mount is down here, and then like I said, I had this aluminum plate. So you know, you might have to buy pieces of aluminum. You know, if you do this, your motor mount's going to stick out this way, so it's going to be a little easier. You don't have to build this little S-shaped bracket right here. But that's it. Goes about 15 miles an hour, and pretty smooth ride. And it's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. And one more thing I wanted to add. The board, Craigslist, $180. The Razor E300, I found it listed on Craigslist for $20. It needed new batteries, but it was in really good shape. And then you got to buy batteries. You can buy the cheapy batteries. You know, they may not last as long. I got Duracells in here. And then, you know, nuts and bolts. Probably about 20 bucks worth of nuts and bolts. So altogether, less than $400. And I think this board is better than, you know, some of the $1,000 boards out there. It's got the pneumatic tires, so I can go straight from street to dirt to grass, back onto the street, and not skip a beat on that. So enjoy your building.